part one of the Buzz Bubble with George Lois as we talk about his latest book, Damn Good Advice. Now back to our host, Kevin Kelly, on the Buzz Bubble.
Hey, welcome back. It's Kevin Kelly here on the Buzz Bubble. We are in New York City here to talk to the great, the one and only George Lois, father of the creative revolution, the original madman. Also, such great work. A decade worth of Esquire covers featured in MoMA a couple years ago. Launched brands like Tommy Hilfiger, campaigns like I Want My MTV, and he's going to talk to us today about his new book, Damn Good Advice for Talented People. Not everybody can read this, according to George, and I get that. That's very George. Among many of his books, like Ali Rap, The Big Idea, so much work. This guy's amazing. I can't wait to go talk to George. He's also one of the greatest guys in the world you'll ever want to meet. So we're going to go crawl inside the head of George Lois here on the Buzz Bubble right now. Let's go.
I got nothing against gay guys, but
That's okay. But you know, you usually want a little $20 before we get going.
You know how many times I've said, people say, "Can I ask you a personal question?" And I immediately say, "I have never had a homosexual experience, except for that one time, and I didn't enjoy it." And most people laugh. A lot of people go. A lot of people go. Yeah.
Forget the question. All right, great. Well, George, thank you so much for inviting me back.
It's great to talk to you again, Kevin. Yeah.
And
we always have a lot of fun.
We do. We do. And now we're back to talk about yet another book. We've got a book here, and George has got damn good advice not for everybody, for people with talent. And I'll tell you right off the bat, the one thing I love about this book, it's just like you open it up and you start talking.
Yeah, right.
There's no table of contents. There's no phone. Well, there's a little phone.
I wake up in the morning the same way. I say, "Hey, hi, honey."
It's great. You got to get it. So we're here to talk about the book, among all the other things. It's funny you open up with a little something from Abe Lincoln that got you in trouble in the Army. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, actually, it was a talk I gave at the Black Alumni of Pratt. Gave me an award about 9 months ago. And I accepted the award, and I did a lot of things trying to help racial injustices, and so they gave me an award. And I gave that talk, which I'll tell you about in a second, and it was I say, it's a Lincoln quote. It's a beautiful quote.
To sin by silence when they should protest makes cowards of men.
Which is
right.
I kind of quote.
Sure.
And I was drafted into the Army in 51 because I got thrown out of high school, out of Pratt by my teacher, Herschel Levitt. He got me a great job with a woman art director, what a woman stood. And anyway, I lost my, deferment, and 6 months later, I get drafted into the Army, and this was 51. Now, you got to understand, that's, and I do basic training in Camp Gordon, Georgia.
Down to South.
Jim Crow South. I mean, bad. Oh, they were still hanging guys. They were still hanging guys back then, But colored drinking fountains, the whole bit,
Right.
So they're taking the first day they're doing roll call. Jackson, right here. Jones, right here. All the Southern boys. Longstreet, right here. Lois, I said, yo, and it was over, and I was the only. Only guy who wasn't for some reason, from North. And a major comes up to me, and Southern major, and he leans in. And he said, "What's with the yo, soldier?" I said, Southern, ticket enrollment, sir. He said, "What's with the yo, soldier?" I said, "Well, the Southern boys all say right here, and I'm from New York, so I say yo." And he leaned in and almost headbutted me and said, "Oh, another New York Jew fag nigger lover." And I put my head went back about 6 inches, and I leaned back in and I said, "Go fuck yourself, sir." I gave this talk to the Black alumni. It was a standing ovation. It was wonderful. And everybody said, boy, you had some pair of balls saying the N-word. I said, I don't know how to tell that story without saying the N-word, but people understand why I said it. But anyway, so I said, if I give it I do 14 weeks company punishment, which means at the end of every day, maybe you get back to your barracks at 10 o'clock at night. You're dead tired from doing everything you were to. You have to go and you have to work through the night doing whatever, cleaning the tar pits and polishing floor. And they give you 3 hours sleep because they figure that'll destroy you. Right. Little did they know, little did they understand that I only need 3 hours sleep a night, and that I love to clean. So I did great,
That's right.
But anyway, so I did my 14 weeks punishment and off to Korea, So I said, so I did it anyway. So in the introduction of the talk, I said, "Thank you, Abraham Lincoln," But anyway,
I chuckled.
I used it because I used that introduction, and then I go on to talk about courage. I go on to talk about great creativity takes more than talent and more than learning the process and passion and everything else. You need knowledge, but it takes courage. If you do work that's innovative and exciting and different than everybody else, and almost mind-boggling, seemingly outrageous, you have to have courage.
Sure. Anybody can churn out the same
that's
stuff
the only way you can get any work done. I really hit kids with courage. They look at you like, what do you mean courage? I mean, yeah, to do great work, you need courage. To do shitty work, you don't need courage. You just go with the flow.
Right. And go with the flow is not the way we work.
You got it.
How about the book? I love the book title. Damn Good Advice. Did the publisher...
Goodbye, honey. That's my honey there. That's my first wife.
That's your first wife.
That's my first wife. 60 years ago.
Wow.
Bye, girl.
60 years. She needs an award.
Are you kidding? I thought I was the award. No, I guess not.
Damn Good Advice.
Yeah.
Did the publisher give you any trouble with the name, or they
No. They loved it. I was playing with a couple of others, and I was couldn't quite decide. And then I said, well, let me start all over again. What is this book? Well, it's full of damn good advice. Not a bad title.
There you go. Yeah, it's got to be your voice. It's 100% your voice.
It was that simple, yeah.
And then you go on, and the subtext here is for people with talent. You don't want to waste your time. If you don't have talent, don't bother reading it. And I like that you do have hope for the talented, lazy folk. Look, you can read it. You got to make some changes. You got to get rid of that lazy. But you said, I think in here you're allowed to.
Yeah, no, I mean, what's
there you go.
I mean, I'm kind of serious, but it's fun, There are only 4 types of person you can be. I know when kids read this, they think hard about it. Identify yourself. 1, very bright, industrious. You're perfect. 2, very bright, lazy. It's a damn shame. 3, stupid, lazy. You'll just sit on your ass, so it's a wash. But the really dangerous person in this world is 4, stupid and industrious. I mean, that is a dangerous motherfucker, right? So I say, if you're number
Republican convention, no.
Yeah, if you're number 1 or 2, you get a lot out of this book. If you're number 3 or 4, why the fuck are you reading this book?
You save a lot of people a lot of time.
Yeah. No. The point is, I was kind of saying. I say it's for people with talent,
Right.
But and I'm not sure how many people in this world have talent. But the point is, a lot of people are stiffs, and stiff is a stiff is a stiff.
Yeah, right. No book's going to change that.
That's it for part 1 with George Lois. Tune in next week for part 2.
Ogilvy tried to hire me, for Christ's sake, out of Doyle Day, and I laughed at this. I mean, I respectfully laughed at his face, I said, I don't read what, I said, Mr. Ogilvy, there's not a word in your book. He wrote Confessions of a Day. There's not a word in your book I agree with. I mean, you got 6,000 rules against a guy like me. He said, well, yeah, I guess you're right.
Next week on The Buzz Bubble.